Hey, good morning, guys. Uncle Craig here with morning coffee on the Knock. And I see smoke coming in. My wife's over there burning palm tree leaves that have piled up. It's good though for the morning because a little bit of smoke will blow out any of these mosquitoes that might want to be hanging out in the garden out there. My Chiang Mai beans here. Although here on the farm we have a couple. We planted three coffee bean plants. So hopefully maybe these trees will grow. Probably 10 years, but we'll probably have coffee, our own coffee, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I did some. I bought some more plants. I did some transplanting and some, took some cutoffs to propagate in new plants. And I mentioned in a previous video that that's my preferred method. I mean, you should buy a plant that you can easily make more plants from, and it'd be really easy that way to have a lot of plants. If you, in this environment, a farm kind of environment, plants are a good thing. It's those damn vegetables growing is so difficult unless you have a very controlled environment, which we might try one day later. But that garden down there, as you know, I had to put them cement rings in there in order to have anything grow in there and survive the saturated soil, mud, clay mud, really. Although we turned it up, when we took all the morning glory, the pakbong out of the ponds. When we first came back to Thailand, it was a massive overgrown. We turned it all up into mulch, basically, or into food for the soil. Really thick, like a foot or two of that stuff. But that doesn't seem to really have made a difference because the mud is just mud. And now there's standing water, actually. So we got to kind of chop it up sometimes. You just can't even saturate. When when I put the trellis over the garden area, and I was digging down to put one of the posts in there, I hit water. That's how saturated it was. It's like almost like a well. But anyway, yeah. So I went out to our local nursery and got some more plants and some more pots because I needed to transplant. I showed previous video that I planted 2 trays of flowers, and I had leftover seeds, and I put those seeds out in the cement rings. Even though it was raining every day, it hasn't rained, like this is the 3rd day I think that it hasn't rained, but it was raining every day, and I said, well, you know what, these are extra seeds, I'll put them down in here in the cement, in these open cement rings, and let Mother Nature do its thing. If it doesn't grow, it doesn't grow. And the ones over here I have underneath the house, controlled in terms of their exposure. We'll see, if they both grow, then fine. Let's see which grows better, whatever. Anyway, they were too big for the trays, so I bought bigger pots and transplanted them. Yeah, I did a lot. Actually, I got some other plants I put around the pond too. I'll show you those. I'll show you all that stuff in a minute. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do this morning. I took my couple more Lazada deliveries, and I'll get them all. Let me get this. Oh. Didn't know what it was at first. Whoa. But I see that it is. They always wrap these things with a massive amount of plastic. I think it's really just protected from the elements because, you never know when the delivery truck could be flooded. Actually, most of these deliveries are via motorcycle, or a lot of them are. So, yep, this is a Intech heavy-duty sprayer. It's got its own air compressor. What I bought this for was, let's take a look. What I bought this for, a little plastic hose, kind of like a vacuum. Cheap, feels kind of cheap. I hope that's not too cheap. This is again, it's plastic. That's plastic. That's like really cheap plastic. Kind of worried a little bit, but it was only like whatever. I don't even know. Is this the invoice? It's 20 bucks. Well, 630 baht, like 19 bucks. Compressor feels pretty good. Feels pretty heavy actually. And there's the canister. This is aluminum, so that's good. That's a good sign. This is your pour spout. And it has a strap, which is kind of weird, but hey. So what I wanted to do with this, I needed one, and I'll try it. Hopefully it works. It should work. It said on the description, it said it was, you know, that you could use it for varnish. And that's really what I want to do, because it's been 6 months and some parts of the house could use a little extra varnish, but I don't want to paint it. And actually, as wood dries out and you want to use a brush to varnish, when you're doing this, the brush will actually capture some of the air when you're pushing that in there, and then those air bubbles find their way out. Next thing you know, you have a coat of varnish that has all these pock marks of air bubbles in it. I don't want that. But spraying it actually eliminates that issue. If the spray is right. It's got to be aerated just right. So anyway, I'll just go. You know, I worry that the varnish would melt plastic. I don't know. Maybe not. Oh, you just stick that in there. It just cinches up in there. And this will go to the compressor. I have to do a video on that when I started varnishing. Okay, my other unboxing. Again, this was I usually pay for things in advance. So if I'm not home, like I wasn't home, they just drop it off. Same guys usually come. And sometimes I don't know what it is. But this one, check it out. It is I know it's a replica, right? But, boom. I got my little World War II Army helmet or something. And no, this isn't for riding motorcycles. Although, you could, because, you know, as I'm looking in the viewfinder, what is it? So, I did actually order a camouflage cover for it. I ordered this because, as a prop, basically, because I'm gonna try and make a little, you know, little movie video that I've been working on. But I need that too. Hey, there's my two little unboxers for today. Pretty cool, huh? I'm watching Gotta Love Thailand live stream right now. Oh, speaking of shout outs to Dave on the Gotta Love live stream. I was watching just this morning. It's been a couple days, so I didn't get to it, but I was watching James Abroad channel. I'm on that $55,000 house and land and a pond or something that he highlighted the other day. And he gave me a big shout out about my house because, and I mentioned this before, but he did a video in December last year of our house that was being, well, it was already built, but it was on the company lot over there in Company Pit on the main road. And he did the walk through the house and all that stuff. And it was just a few weeks later in January, late January, when we saw that house ourselves. I didn't see the video yet, although I did always watch his channels, but that's when I watched his videos, but that's when we first came back to Thailand, so I was hectic, you know. But we went to that house, and that's when we actually decided, you know what, let's get the house. When he was videoing it, was 1.5 million baht. We bought it for 1 million baht. But it was pretty cool he did. So if you haven't watched James' channel, you should subscribe to that channel and check out his little shout out there. Oh, or big shout out really. Got some of my video in there of my knockdown being built or being set up here and stuff. Pretty cool, man. And yeah, so, but yeah, multitasking. Oh, well, here, let me show you some flowery improvements I've done here. These are flowers. I had them in these trays, and actually I put one kind in each row, and it was weird, but this middle row one did not grow at all. Those two grew, and these were the result of that. And I believe there's, it looks like they all look the same, but it's supposed to be three different kinds. But they do actually, now that I'm looking at them, I'm going, wait a minute, they all got the same red stem. What's up with that? So, but they're bigger now, and I bought these pots. I'll show you over here. I bought these pots so I can start planting other things. They were, you know, these are about, what are those? Those are maybe 8-inch pots or something like that. About 50 of them. They were 12 baht each, and I paid 10 baht each. You know, it's a pretty good size pot to get things going. These boxes, planter boxes we can call them. This is a hard plastic kind with the feet on it, so it's real good and strong. Those actually were like 100 baht, I think. So they're kind of, you know, I haven't figured out where I'm going to put those, but I use those big ones to transplant from all the little boxes over there. And I did also make some cuttings to propagate these guys. And if you know what these are, by the way, I need to put water in. I should have put water last night. This is dry now, but you probably know what this one is, yeah. I'll see if I can put the names on them. I also took some of those cuttings and I put them into a open planter too. Over here, I bought another hibiscus and I put it into the planter. I put these, actually this plant too was, I think it's more of a house plant, but the hibiscus I put in these planters because they're not really old enough yet. I could try and clip it and propagate, but I want them to grow big here and then use this as kind of a staging ground to be able to start propagating and have more hibiscus around, because these are really nice looking flowers. That's actually one single bean stalk that survived. And this one too, because once this grows, if this grows big and takes off, I'll be able to separate that too. Separate. And that really, when you're, you know, if you're going to propagate plants, you know, I figured out, whoa, I figured out that there are two methods really. One is separation, and the other one is, you know, propagating by cutting off. So cutting off the plant right a little bit below the node where you know, where a new branch is growing. You can cut it off a node clean and plant that, or you can pull up the whole plant and just shake it until most of the dirt's off and kind of gently rip apart the two plants to separate them, and you can do it that way. It really depends on the plant. And just a minute ago I was going, whoa, right? I am reminded that in the middle of the night last night, the cats come up on the porch and they sleep up there, which is cool. It keeps them safe from the dogs that run around at night. And but then, you know, they're nocturnal, so they're playing, and there's like a boom, 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 and it kept going on. Like, what in the hell? And I just figured out, I know they got something up there. They got a rat or something, because, you know, they'll play with the thing until it's dead, right? So they kept playing, went outside, or my wife got up and went outside. I don't know if I said go check that or not, but and she's like, Craig. So I came out there and it was a snake. And I'll show that video clip here so you can see what kind of snake it is. Oh, another snake. Oh. What is it? It is this would be, which one is that? That one actually looks like a, okay, you see that snake? Well, it was already dead, so I had to pick it up and I chucked it out over the balcony because they didn't want to come down here. Throw it out the balcony into the garden, and I just see it right now. I thought it was a new snake, but it's actually the same snake, although it is being slowly devoured by ants. These ants will eat that whole thing in no time. Cats won't eat it, dogs. Okay, so just a few minutes ago I mentioned how I put the extra seeds from those flower plants out here in the garden into these large cement rings under the normal downpour, and it downpoured many times. I figured, oh man, the seeds are going to be dead or drowned. You know, if too much water, they will drown, and if they're not grown yet, they'll mold, and then they just won't grow. But anyway, it looks like these have actually fared better than those. Let's take a look. So these are actually quite bigger, and that's definitely a different kind. That's the big one from over there. That's probably a different kind, so it looks like I got 1, 2, 3 different, unless those are new weeds. I doubt it. I've never seen those before. And over here is the same big old bushy. I don't know if they're feeding off each other or what. This one also is definitely different, and this one's definitely different. So these must have grown very well. And over here, I think what I did over here was, these were extra from the pots that I transplanted. So I had some and I brought them over here and transplanted. That one stem right there is a, oh, look at that, man. That one stem right there is one of my cutoffs from over there at the, at that same red plant. And that's what I did here too. I put those cutoffs in here, so hopefully those will grow. And it's all wet out here, so there is a certain amount of moisture that these plants will get just from the air. Everything else is growing pretty good. You know, my wife, that was one purple plant. All these purple plants are from just this one plant that we bought. And same with this green one. She just used separation to to do that. She also used separation on these here. And we have, there goes an ant biting me. 1, 2, 3 or 4 of those. I hate those biting ants, man. No good, no good. You rub up against a tree and then they wind up jumping on you for some reason, which I'm not real fond of. Ouch. These plants are doing much better. I took them out of the line of fire, which is the runoff. We put them there first to get more natural watering, but then it was just too much and the water was beating up the leaves. You know, the downpour would chew up the leaf like this and break it up, but I moved them away from there and now we're already got new leaves going. So those will probably recover pretty quick. These Heliconia, I think it is, something like that. These ones, they're growing, but the leaves are not healthy. It's not weak. I got to get it into a right spot. Those are the ones we got free from when we bought those cement planters from that guy. These two have taken off pretty good. That's actually one that fell. Where is it? It fell off, and he grew right there. Pretty cool. These were other ones that I bought. They're starting to yellow or get spots on them. I'm not sure what all that is. It may be because these things do not like sunshine. And it's alright. Not all plants like sunshine. But I did want to, I've been looking for these. And there's a lot of them on the side of the road anywhere, but you know, you can't, I don't feel good about just stopping my truck on the side of the road and going out there with a shovel and chopping up some plants in the ditch. You know, might be somebody's ditch. But I bought these guys, and for those of you who know, you know that that thing, there's actually 5 of them. I bought 2 big ones and 3 small ones. The big ones were, I think, 80 baht, and the small ones were 60 baht. So, you know, it was about 10 bucks for that group maybe, or whatever. These will grow massive. They'll take over this whole thing on both sides, maybe even out in the water more. And but you know, I don't mind that initially. I'll have it. I want it to be able to take over this front edge, you know, because they're really nice. They're good-looking plants. They also reduce the amount of weeds underneath it because there's no sun. But when they grow too far, we'll have to. You know, we'll have to chop them up. But what's good about it is I want it to grow up and all of a sudden start spreading, because then I'm going to be able to get in there, cut one out, and put it in different areas. I wouldn't mind this road right here, lined both sides with all that stuff. And you can do all that, as I mentioned before, for nothing, right? I just bought that, and I buy that. I'm coming over here to look at my bananas. I buy that, and it's going to be a massive amount of flowers that I can get from it. I don't know, I think my bananas are about ready. You can hear the grinding from my lens from that stand that's in there. But yeah, man, how does your garden grow, right? So the idea is that, yeah, all these plants, I just want to be able to cut them and make more plants. Preferably the ones that you cut, stick it in the ground, you know, or in some good soil, and it grows like right away. The faster growth plants are what I'm after. We do have, whoa, just saw a fish jump. We do have a number of plants on this side that aren't really growing that fast. This tree, And that tree over there, slow growth, and I believe it's because of massive amount of water runoff here. Same with the croton, although it has grown up at least a foot, these 3 or 4 or 5 plants. These have grown a little bit. These are the, you know, I would call them mosquito plants. Although I realize now after looking at these 2 plants, they're doing okay, but they're primarily kind of like house plants. So I'll do some separation for these and maybe get it. They're 2 different kinds. This here, those are my second ones. Remember, in the previous video I showed you I mounted those 2 in the house. They're drying actually. I'm going to put some varnish on there, and they will they'll be put up. I could probably do that today. Although my task for today, as I'm already dressed, although I don't have my boots on, is continuing in the shop house. Cement's in, so I can start putting up more walls, which really means mixing more cement, which is not what I want to do. But I gotta do it, man. I found out that if I do it in small increments, you know, bucket of cement, bucket of sand, like that, it's much easier to mix, and you know, I get her done. I don't want the mortar drying up, you know. Speaking of flowers, our lily pond, or our lotus flowers, you can see if you look at previous videos, you know, we started out with just 2 plants, just like those other red ones I showed you. These ones took off, and there are quite a number of them out there now. This one here, the white ones, these are alright when they're about like that. Once they get big and stuff, they're not that pretty. But certainly the pink ones are traditional lotus flowers that everyone enjoys. And the fish enjoy them too, because it's more stuff to hide underneath, you know. So we're happy about that. I will wind up going out there though on the boat and removing a bunch of the white ones, because they seem to grow a lot faster, and they come out and then they die. So the idea is we can, with the white ones, we can harvest them when they're the little bud, and we can take them when we go to the Wat, to Buddha, you know. And the pink ones, you know, they'll produce the pods too that have the little beans in them or whatever that you can eat. Oh yeah, and then I also bought, well, I think I showed you these 2. I moved them actually, and I transplanted them. This house plant, well, a hanging plant, and this one, philodendron. It's kind of in that, it's light colored now. I think it needs more shade, but I transplanted them into bigger things. They are actually in the, when they grew them in the coconut kind of stuff like you would an orchid. I'm not sure, but I guess that works. But I like the vine ones, the hanging ones. Everybody knows who's had these. They grow everywhere, so you can just snatch off the piece, put it in some water, let it root, and then plant it again. Same will happen with these. This one I bought. This is pretty cool. This one is I forget what it's called, somebody's heart or something like that. But I do know that it's actually part of the it's a part of the basil family, mint. You can actually take these flowers and, you know, the whole flower, and even the leaves, you can pound them up into you know, into a whatever, just pound them up into a mess, and you can use that stuff for like cuts and you know, arthritis or whatever all that stuff. You can put that stuff on your hands and your bones and stuff, and it's basically a medicine, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna try that. But it also grows, I think it's called a climbing heart or something. I don't know. It's a vine, so I can again break that off, so I can probably have a whole bunch of that and that. Pretty cool, man. Well, that's enough about our flowery update here on the farm. And I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any comments, feel free. One last flower update. My flowers out there on the garden bench are taking off too. Those are real thick vine flowers. They're like tree vines almost. I'm not sure how to propagate those, but I'd love to have those growing everywhere too. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and keep watching. Back at you.